Welcome to the VRCade Podcast brought to you by VRilliant Studios. Our aim is to get every single arcade owner in the world onto our show so they can share their story. So if you're interested in becoming one of our guests, please let us know. You can join our Discord. It's linked down in the description below. We've been very busy with the launch of Atlantis recently, so we haven't had an episode. Apologies for that, but we are back. And today we have Dan from Reality Room in Greenburgh, Pennsylvania. How you doing, Dan?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. We spoke a few weeks back for the first time, right? And I was just asking you about your arcade and how long you've been open for. How long have you been open for? Let everyone know.
Yeah, so we opened November 10th of last year, so we're still within year one.
Yeah,
We're located inside of Westmoreland Mall in Greensburg, Pennsylvania,
yeah.
and it's been a crazy ride for this first year so far. So couldn't have asked for a better year one.
Nice. And is this your first ever VR arcade?
Yeah, prior to this, there I was working for a company called Medify that reached out to a lot of pro gamers.
Okay.
Basically, worked in the the FGCs and the like Rocket League, things like that, and bringing on top end players there, giving them a platform to monetize their abilities for coaching skills to people that want to get better in video games.
Ah, cool. So what made you want to open up your own VR arcade?
Yeah, we worked remote a lot of the times there. We were shifting, and then my son was about to be born in February of last year. So we were making some changes. My partner had reached out to me and he said, "Hey, I've had this idea for a while. I just don't understand the tech side of things there." He's like, "What do you think about it?"
Hmm.
And my first reaction to VR was from the original PlayStation VR years ago. And I
Yeah.
remembered playing, Resident Evil 7 for the first time on the original PlayStation VR, and I
Yes.
lasted about 15 minutes, and I was nauseous. So I was a little hesitant at first. I was like, I know VR's come a long way since. So I went out, spent some money on Quest 2, and I was like, we'll see how this goes. So I dove in, and the rest is history. Quest 2, absolutely loved it, was playing all day, had friends that were jumping in with, games like I think it's called Blastian.
Yep.
I don't know exactly how to announce it, but we were having a blast with that there. So then, my kid was obsessed with it there. He started playing Gorilla Tag. So he just kind of became my little consumer test toy there. I was like, hey, what do you think of this here? Is this? So if the kids love it, I'm like, all right.
Which headsets and what kit did you decide to buy for your arcade and why?
Yeah. So there was a lot of back and forth. So one of the main focuses that we obviously have are the virtual reality escape rooms. So, we thought, okay, if we go the Quest route, we're going like a cheap end there. There might be some issues. Do we want to do that there? And then we thought, at that time, the Quest 3 wasn't on the market. So then we started looking into HTC Vives, and then the way that we decided to go was with the Valve indexes for the escape room. That way, we're just directly connected to the PC, less issues. A lot of the companies were recommending it, so we were like, all right. So we did some pulley cords there. So in our venue, we have them, strapped to the ceiling, come down.
I've still
It's
got mine for
the way to
my
go.
Valve Index. Yeah. Unfortunately, I
Yeah.
parted
So
ways to buy Valve Index. That's very sad
yeah,
day. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah. Yeah, no, I was gonna say, so there's a lot of research trying to, just late nights reaching out to companies, seeing what's out there. Came across a couple different ones that we partnered with there. So we use ARVI and
Hmm.
Ubisoft in our venue. There's another one that we're in talks with. They're
Yep.
more of the free roam stuff there. Great escape rooms. Just haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet there, but there's a lot of different experiences that we have right now. 20 escape rooms currently. And then this last week, there was 21. I don't know if you've ever heard of a game that just came out. So
No,
it's
which
called
game's that?
Atlantis. I don't know.
No, I never heard of it. Have you had much
So
playtime with Atlantis?
yeah.
Okay.
So we reached out for the beta access.
Hmm.
I had pulled some people from other stores in the mall, had them come down. So me and two others jumped in. During the beta, I ran into a little issue where I got stuck in the wall coming through a window.
Yeah.
It seems to be fixed from that point
Yeah.
so far, but I got to at least take the headset off there and then watch the rest of it there. So during the beta, obviously you're kind of expecting that stuff.
Yeah.
And then you guys had sent the final version and stuff. And so far, we've had multiple people run it and they love it. I've had some people that have done some of the other ones from some of the other companies there. And
Yeah.
they said it was just a good feeling there. It has that like action adventure. It's a little bit different. I don't want to say it's a hard puzzling game, but it's such a good blend is the
Yeah.
way that they've described it. So pretty good.
Oh, it's great to hear. Thank you for your feedback. I know the
Absolutely.
team works really, really hard on the game, really hard on the game, and we're currently working on the first patch as well. So lots of feedback coming in, and we're trying to listen to all the arcades and get things implemented that people have asked for. So yeah, it's been a really crazy week or so, but it's been really fun.
Yeah, like I said, your Discord has been on top of everything. Well, not just for me. I see other people jumping in there, and you guys are super quick to respond. So you guys care. That's one good thing that I can say about you guys there. So
Thank you very much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. I'm
yeah,
sure the guys listening back in the office will appreciate that too.
absolutely.
So you offer more than just VR at your arcade. I noticed that you offer quite a few different things. Do you want to let everyone know what it is that you have on as other options?
Yeah. So like I said, we initially started with everything VR. So what we ended up doing there is we have the I call it the zombie cage. People might have seen it on like TikTok and stuff like that, where it's like a big still jail cell looking thing there,
Hmm.
four-player shooter, zombies, aliens, dinosaurs. People love that. Has the HTC Cosmos. They come down. Four-player has the guns.
Yeah.
Then we have a flight machine that people lay down on. There's 5 games on that you can fly on the back of a dragon, a snowmobile. You can fly in a wingsuit. There's a gatling gun that has a couple different games. There's a motorcycle that has a water pump in the base there on it has like street racing, space racing, has one that's a wave runner. So when you hit the jumps and you land in the water, it shoots out there. So a lot of the immersive VR stuff,
Yeah.
racing. And then some of our favorite stuff is the VR roller coaster simulators there on the hydraulics, moving you around,
Hmm.
hitting you with compressed air. Those are honestly some of the biggest attractions, and they're not even games, they're just experiences. And you just see people going again and again and again on that. So if you're starting a VR arcade, I would incorporate that.
Hmm.
Um, we partnered with Hologate
Yeah.
to have the first tower tag Battlezone
Hmm.
in North America. So tower tag, super popular game. It's in their arenas that's been on the market. We decided to go that route just because it has that competitive vibe where it actually has physical towers that's wireless. They use HTC Vive Focus 3s on those. So haptic vests, it really gives people the experience of competitive play while also giving you a lot of the unique experiences that people haven't got to try on haptic vests. And then obviously the VR escape rooms there. The one thing that we noticed as people are coming in is not everybody enjoys VR. While a huge hit, 5-star reviews left and right. The main thing was, smaller kids. What
Hmm.
can we do there? So we actually ended up partnering with a company called Knockerball that was also in the mall. We ended up taking them over. And then we also now own a chocolate confectionery ice cream place in the mall there too that ties into our birthday parties. So that's what we have right now. And then we're working on bringing something else into the fold there with a company called Gel Blasters. It's called Nexus. So that's kind of the next thing on the agenda for us.
What advice would you give to somebody who is looking to open up a VR arcade?
Yeah. Like you said, if I could do it again,
Hmm.
like I said, while we have the race car, the moto, the gatling, the flight machine, those are all single player things.
Yeah.
Something I've noticed that is when people come into the venue,
Hmm.
they want to do racing, but they really wish they could race against their friend, or they flock to the cage over the gatling because it's a 4 player setup, or they could do 2 players in there, or
Hmm.
the single player is sometimes there. So when you're thinking about that, think of team play through and through. Um, the other thing I would say is you don't have to go out and spend tens and hundreds of thousands on a lot of the equipment that's out there. There's a lot of great ways that you could do it. You could open up a venue perfectly fine with probably 15, 20,000 in computers and headsets alone and do it,
Yeah.
properly, and people would still love it. VR's, while it's becoming more mainstream, it's something that it's still a brand new experience to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Okay. So I'm guessing you forked out quite a bit of money by the sound of things with all of the stuff that you've got.
sure did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is it going? Like, as in, is everything popular, or do you have certain machines that don't get used as much? Anything that's kind of used the most?
Yeah. Like you said, the thing that gets used the most, surprisingly, and we put it up to the front of the store for that. So keeping in mind you're in a mall there, so
Yeah.
people are walking by and you're kind of window shopping. Are the like movie roller coaster simulators
Hmm.
there? Um, One thing I wasn't expecting there was in our state, there's uh, anything that has multi seats is considered an amusement ride. So then you
Okay.
have to. So we hit
Interesting.
some legislation.
Yeah.
We hit some problems there with government. There, they're really cool with it. They didn't shut us down or anything like that.
Hmm.
They were just like, get everything certified properly, and then take care of that. So um, check into some like random things there. It would have been smart to, check that out there. But um, that was something that we were kind of unexpected there. But the amusement rides, the 2 seat, the 4 seater that we have,
Hmm.
people love them. When people are hearing people screaming, they're just having a blast going on a roller coaster or something like they're called feet ticklers. It's just an air compressor that shoots air through it. And
Yeah.
like if you're going through a jelly filled and it feels like they're like stinging you. So you'll hear people scream, and then people will stop in the mall and they're like, what's going on? So
Yeah.
screams, fun, high energy. It's what brings people in.
Do you get many people that are kind of get motion sick or anything like that? Because it's probably their first time in VR, I guess, if they just kind of think, oh, that's cool, and just jump on.
Yeah. So usually at this point you can kind of tell the like what's going to happen with a lot of people there. So um, a lot of times, like you said, it's a new experience for these people. So I know that if they're coming in, they're in a mall. A lot of people are just browsing.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I'll just ask them. I'll explain what we have. Have they ever tried VR? Um, a lot of the questions now is we have a Quest 2 at home there. I was like, all right, well, this is a little bit different. Now we're going into immersive land here. So, are you okay with like, amusement rides? Yeah. I'm like, come here real quick. Are you okay? You have 4 minutes. So I usually throw them on a ride just to see like, because they're either going to experience it for the first time and they're going to love it, and then they
Yeah.
usually stick around and spend more money. Or two, we're going to find out real quick that you know they get motion sick or anything like that. And I always let them know like, hey, if anything, just take the headset off. You're not stuck on the ride or anything like that. I'll hit stop and jump off. Most of the time, you know, they're like, yeah, we're perfectly fine. I feel a little wobbly. I
Hmm.
haven't had anybody throw up. So that was my biggest fear of opening a VR arcade.
Yeah.
Should have said that. I was very worried of just like from my experience like with Resident Evil 7 back then. I was like, what if people are just throwing up? Like, I was super terrified of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think we've had that in the arcade at Zurich. I'm sure we've had that a few times before.
yeah. So no throw up so far. We're almost a full year. Let's do 1 year perfect track record there. So
What would you say is the most important thing to having a successful VR arcade? I know you've only been open since like November. But what have you found is the key most important thing?
Yeah, variety is super important.
Hmm.
Actually caring and enjoying what you do. And then customer service. Like I said, this is the first time that a lot of people are experiencing virtual reality.
Hmm.
So, like I said, our main thing there is let people try it. It takes 3-4 minutes of your time. Um, it doesn't cost me any money there, but if you do that, it's super important there, and just build that relationship there in your community, and
Hmm.
um, it takes off from there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really important to have that qualifying process to obviously, like you said, ask them the right questions and maybe get them on there and see how they react. Because if you're just if you don't qualify them and they stick their heads on and it's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And they start puking everywhere and fainting and all that kind of stuff, then it's going to be like, we're never coming back here again. So yeah, that is really important. What kind of game do you think is missing from the VR arcade specific market?
Ooh. um, I don't know. There's battle royales, there's first person shooters,
Hmm.
there's escape rooms. Um, I I'm more into the like kind of horror jumpy type stuff.
Hmm.
So as I mentioned earlier, The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time.
100%. Yeah.
So as is for a lot of people, it,
Mhm.
it obviously, it just has that beautiful narrative story there with the jump scares there. So if we could get something that has that beautiful narrative, just kind of like in your face, like it doesn't have to be a clicker, but something just kind of gripping you up there,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of in the VR. I couldn't imagine something, or maybe it's out there and I don't know about it yet. There, it's something of that nature where it just has great narrative, solid storyline, but it just gives you that thrill of something attacking you right in your face there. So
Yeah.
that's what I would like to see.
So more of a jumpy kind of horror game. Yeah.
That's what I'm all about.
Yeah, same
So
here. Same here. It's weird because I've played so many horror games in VR and they don't really do, I don't get jump scared or anything like that. But actually, no, I
yeah,
do get little jumpy moments and stuff, but like I'm not like, it's weird because my brain's telling me that it's not real at the same time. So it needs to be something really freaked out. Like The Exorcist. I remember when I first played that. That was the first VR horror game I played. That did weird me out a little bit. Have you played The Exorcist Legion?
I've not.
Yeah.
So
So yeah, try it out. It's yeah, it's pretty immersive, and it's you don't know what to expect, and that's the thing. And it's like you need to go here now, but there's blood everywhere, and it's like all these weird noises and stuff. You might enjoy it.
yeah, like you remember the uh I think it was PE, the demo
Yeah,
on
yeah.
like PlayStation
Mhm,
with Kojima, and it was kind of basically, it was supposed to become Silent Hill.
mhm.
Um, Even something like that, where it's just terrifying. So
Yeah,
give me more terrifying things.
yeah. I don't know if it's like if it's too scary. Maybe the platforms say it's too scary. You can't make a VR game this scary, or do you think there's some kind of something stopping that from happening?
I mean, Grand Theft Auto exists, so I think that there's a lot
Anything's
of
possible.
I think there's a lot of things where there's like, sure, stamp it, send it.
Yeah, 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 of
Um,
course.
but I could imagine, just with all the like VR fell videos that are out there, people running into microwaves and stoves and their wall.
Yeah,
Um, something jumps out and terrifies you. Maybe they're like, all right, there's a little bit of a health risk here, so let's
yeah,
dial it back a bit. So or maybe, yeah, health risks with like heart attacks or things like that. We're like, all right, let's not try and scare them too much.
but then like if it that's just great, like a great advertisement, right? This game's so scary, it gave someone a heart attack. I mean, that would sell, right?
Terrible and beautiful marketing all at once there, you know. I'm sorry to use your heart attack, but this game is the real deal here.
Hey, you know what they say, any press is good press, right? Which headset would you say is the most versatile and user friendly for yourself being a VR arcade owner? Which is like the most hassle free? I guess they all have their issues, but what's been the best one for you so far?
Yeah. If I It would be a toss up there between the HTC Vive Focus 3s and then the
Yeah.
Quest 3s.
Okay.
Um, I would go wireless if I could again.
Hmm.
Um, you know, the while I love the Valve Index, people are getting used to wireless, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So while it's an amazing headset there, I think it's just kind of like, okay, people are starting to get used to VR on the market. Quest 2s are down to $200 here in the States. So super accessible, beautiful entry point. Um, so getting something that's familiar, the Quest 2, Quest 3s are great options. The Vive Focus 3s, if you're doing like a free roam experience,
Hmm.
it has a beautiful thing that it can, um, I can't remember the exact term, so forgive me on that there, but it does have a way where it like locks in the boundary there.
Yeah.
And I see that issue on Quest 2 sometimes there where
Hmm.
like I'll put people in the free roam and then the floor level becomes like here. So I got to go into the settings there, readjust it. And while it's minor stuff there, I haven't had that issue with the Vive Focus 3s there. So um, those would be the headsets that I would lean towards
Hmm.
if you're looking at adding those to your venue. Um, some of our machines also come equipped with Picos. Amazing headset there. I really like those ones. Just not as much accessible. They're not as accessible over
Yeah.
here in the States there. So
Hmm.
um, can't speak too much besides the little bit of experience I have with them. So Quest 3, Quest 2, both great options. Probably the most accessible, best price range. Bifocus 3s, a little bit more comfortable, and the battery backups, things like that there. So comfortable headset.
Yes, in general, from all the arcades that I speak to, and I speak to quite a lot of arcades, overall, I think I think the Vive Focus 3 is probably the most popular headset, I would say, along with
Yeah,
like the Quest 2 and 3. But I think the Vive Focus 3, it works so well for VR arcades. What do you think is the future of VR arcades? Do you think more free roam kind of experiences is where you're looking to go?
yeah. I think there's still a lot of cool machines out there. There's a
Hmm.
lot of companies overseas that have a lot of places that I'm in talks with that have like these fighter jet looking machines that are like you know 2-person cockpit. A couple different games where you're shooting down planes, kid stuff there. There's a lot of stuff that adds in more of the immersion. So now that's adding in like spraying water, giving you heat, wind, kind of like a 5D theater, but all in virtual reality. There's the treadmills.
Yeah.
You know, there was a setup that I was looking at originally, and um, awesome setup. It's just with us being in a mall, if we ever go to move out of the mall, we
Hmm.
also had to think of, okay, how much is it going to cost to tear that whole machine down? So if I were to do it, we'll probably do like standalone, treadmills there, not like a full giant system of it there.
Yeah.
Um, but have you ever got to play with a treadmill there?
I haven't known, unfortunately, not yet.
I was going to say a little different experience than I was expecting, but also at the same time, kind of cool and unique. And that's,
Hmm.
like I said, that's really what we focus on at the arcade is, most people don't have a roller coaster in their household. So,
Yeah.
so when they come there, we want it to be a unique experience that they couldn't just go home and replicate there.
Yeah.
So that is something that we want to continue adding. But I think free room is something that it's a way that you can bring your friends, group of friends and stuff into. And I think it's the most accessible for
Yeah.
people in like arcades.
Yeah, it's really interesting because of where you're located. You get a lot of those people walking past, and like you said, hearing the screams and that kind of stuff. If you had a different location, the the machines might not be as popular, like because you're drawing a lot of attention. That's the really good thing about them is people are hearing and seeing, and they get curious and they ask questions and then they jump on. So I think it's a lot to do with your location. It's a really good place to be in a mall, especially with all of that foot traffic like all the time. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you definitely nailed it there. If we had our own standalone building outside of the mall,
mhm.
is a roller coaster bringing in a family of four? Maybe not.
Daniel, thank you very much for your time. It's been a blast talking to you about VR and your arcade. Great story. You've only been open for a very short period of time, but it sounds like you're doing really well, and wish you all the best in the rest of the year and your success.
Thank you. And once again, thanks for having me on. And hopefully somebody this has, helps them out a little bit there with, starting their venture. And like you said, if you have any questions and you want to reach out to me, shoot me at contact at realityroomvr.com. Happy to answer
Excellent.
any questions I can.
Do you have any other handles like Instagram or Twitter or anything like that? YouTube?
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the stuff that we do right now is on Facebook.
Okay.
So just follow us at the Reality Room VR.
Hmm.
You can add us on Instagram. You know, we have TikTok and stuff like that set up there, but not in full use. Shame on me. TikTok is a beautiful social. I just don't have time to do that there. So that is something I'm looking at, kind of
Yeah.
pushing towards there. So
You
don't
don't.
be like me. Use
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah. You don't need TikTok. You got roller coasters. You don't need TikTok.
Yeah. You're
No,
right.
but
What was
yeah,
I thinking?
exactly. No, but definitely I'll link all of your socials in the post for sure. And everyone go follow him and check out his arcade if you live nearby. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on. It's been great.
See you guys.
Okay, everyone. Thank you everyone for watching. We are still working on our first patch for Atlantis, so keep an eye out for that. If you're interested in a 7-day free trial, just reach out to us, let me know in the comments, or reach out to us on Discord. It's been great. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.